Hey, I'm Coach Mickey, and I'm so glad that you've joined us. And if this is your first time joining us, come on in and make yourself comfortable. And for those of you that join us on a regular basis, we are so glad that you do. And extremely happy to hear your comments, your questions, and your suggestions. And I love the fact that each and every one of you take the opportunity to reach out to my guests. And today is no different because this is a guest that I'm very excited to have and I'm very honored to have because I know his time is very valuable. However, this has been a part of my life and my family's life for many, many years. And to bring Mr. Riley onto my podcast is going to be a pleasure and fun and give you guys some insight of something that you may not know is even here in Southern California, where you can bring your family to do some incredible things. I am talking about Riley's Farm. Riley's Farm is an amazing place for your family. We've gone apple picking every year. We have done all their events. And if you are looking for a place for your family, you will be amazed. So thank you, Mr. Riley, for joining us today. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it very much.
So I know Riley's Farm is a little bit unique. That's a lot unique, actually, than anything else that you would find. So I just would like to ask, so what inspired you to start this colonial way of bringing this to life to everybody on a regular basis?
Well, it was a little bit serendipitous. My parents met out in California in World War II in San Francisco, and they moved to Southern California. And at the time, in the late 40s, early 50s, Southern California was actually a pretty rural place. They lived in Arcadia for a while. It was all cornfields and chicken coops back then. It was a pretty rural environment, and my dad bought a ranch in Yucaipa in the 50s. It was kind of our vacation place through the 60s, and then some land came up for sale in Oak Glen, and Oak Glen is an apple growing area. It has been since the 1880s or so, and the family kept buying land until we amassed about 760 acres altogether. And we were approached because we had these big open fields by Civil War reenactors to do a Civil War battle reenactment. And one thing led to another. When we built our home, I always loved the 18th century, so my wife and I built a colonial style home, and we were going to do 18th century dinner theater, and that was doing all right, but really not taking off as fast as we wanted to. And we were approached by two mothers of fifth graders to a Revolutionary War program for children, and I always thought that wouldn't work because when I was a kid, they just took us to museums and bakeries, and I couldn't see California kids, with fake muskets going off to battle, and yet it just exploded in popularity. We were within 3 or 4 years, we were sending 80,000 students a year in living history for colonial America, and then extended to many of our other programs. We had already started Sleepy Hollow, which is our most popular show, and living history just kind of became the theme of the place. It's a place where you can come and see Gold Rush, Civil War, or American Revolutionary War living history of various forms. It just basically developed through chance.
Well, it's amazing. I've had an opportunity myself with my family, like I said, to experience not only your farm, to go up and apple pick, but also to get our pumpkins, and then also do pressing the apple cider. I mean, it's a full experience. And through the years with my two kids, I've had the opportunity to bring them up and multiple friends of theirs, and each and every time we leave, and it's such joy, and your farm makes you feel like family when you come. And I've had an opportunity to do your dinner events, and they are nothing like I've ever experienced because they're so inclusive. And it's an experience. I guess if I have to tell you anything, it's something that you leave with a smile on your face, and we get excited every year to come up and experience this. But I know your farm also besides that, and you're being humble because you've got amazing food too. Your food and your dinners are incredible. And the people and the staff do everything they can to make you feel like you're in a colonial environment. And they're very inviting and friendly.
Oh, we like hearing that. We want to hit on all eight cylinders, and we do have great barbecue. And really, in terms of the environment, I always tell the employees that the subtext here is love. You have to love your guests, basically. And so we tend to attract a lot of really great young kids who work for us, and we're, as I was saying the other day, we've been urged to have a singles event because so many people have met and married here, that we're thinking about having one of our dances be dedicated to singles. So
That's fun. Well, what a great thing to hear that people have actually met there. What a great environment to meet someone because again, it's so wholesome and like I said, there's so much to do when you're out on your farm and it's beautiful. Your farm is beautiful. I mean, I know you just recently had something where we had the meteor shower. I saw where you could actually come up and sit outside and watch the meteor shower, and that was new. I don't know if that was something you've done before or if that was just something new you just offered. I just happened to see that on your website.
this is the second year for that. We're a little bit away from the light pollution, so people kept remarking that they get to see a pretty pristine summer sky. So on moonless nights, it's actually pretty dramatic. We this last one, it was funny. It was a full moon, so it wasn't as dramatic a sky, but people just liked hanging out and having dinner and sitting on the lawn till 1 or 2 in the morning. So it was a really great group of people, and we've just been blessed with wonderful guests. I mean, who supported us over the years. So, and in terms of being wholesome, it's not that hard to do anymore in Southern California. I mean, we live in the era of drag queen story hour and all kinds of and dramatic instances of craziness or whatever. So I think the people, they just like to feel like they're going back to grandma's house on some level.
Well, and I think it's also family. It's very family oriented because a lot of things around here, I should say, even in Southern California, is very theme oriented. I mean, well, yours is theme oriented, but it's a different feel. It's completely different. It's a completely different feel. It is not packing in people and just running them through. You have a home, you have a place. It's like going into someone's home and you do it with respect too. I mean, and that's what it is. Your farm is your home. And but the way the grounds are set up, and like you said, the staff that's there, and having the opportunity to apple pick. I mean, I think now these days, kids, I mean, they think that getting fruit is going to the market, but having an experience to be able to go pick berries or pick the apples, and then and one of my favorite things that we do as a family is you have those big bushels of apples that and you take them and you put them in that old-fashioned press, and my kids got such a kick out of being able to press their own apple cider, and bring that. And then your dinners, I mean, we mentioned the dinners, but what people don't understand is it's not just the food and the environment's amazing, but it's what you do after. Because one of the things I absolutely love is everybody chips in, clears out all the tables out of your barn, and then you've got the apple on the string and the pie eating contest and the dancing, and it's a group of people that come together and do something so fun, almost like a village coming together and just experience an incredible night out doing something together that you can all enjoy.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, having fun, the concept of having fun, we're so passive about the way we consume entertainment. We have everything. We have our iPads, movie theaters. We're used to being passive consumers of entertainment. But here, we make you get up and dance. We invite you to carve your own pumpkin, engage in apple bobbing. And in terms of the farm itself, I'm convinced that there's sort of a mystical connection most people have to the rhythm of farm life because most of us are only 3 or 4 generations removed from the soil. So when you walk across an apple farm and you smell that kind of fermenting smell of apples that have fallen on the ground and the bees and this rich texture of the earth and horses. I think it evokes memories you may not have specifically
but that are cultural or spiritual, so people feel like they're going back home.
Well, I also think it's a matter of digital detox too. Like you
Mhm.
said, we're so attached to so many electronic devices to take 4 or 5 hours to remove yourself from it and experience it and watch your kids running around on the grass or running through the pumpkin patch that you have, which is massive, to pick a pumpkin, that experience and just to watch that and experience it is just you can't describe it. You don't get that off of your phone. You don't get that off of the computer. That's something you have to go out and do and do physically. And I think you said, like you said, there's something about that dirt, that earthy feeling that's very spiritual. And that's one of the things I've loved. And even taking up my kids' friends, they were like, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, it's the best time. They could just see the joy on their face, and it's good. I mean, it's a good thing to be able to have a place that you can experience like that. So before I go any further, I wanted to let everybody know that's listening, if this is something you would like to attend or you'd like to go, or even just visit their website, because Riley's Farm is just so much more than that. And I'm going to give you a little shout out here, Jim, because this is my favorite. So I just got some of this, and it's the apple cinnamon syrup, which is my favorite, and then your pumpkin syrup. So if you guys are looking for something like this for fall, go to the Riley's Farm website. The link is either below, or you're going to find it in embedded into the podcast where it says Riley's Farm, and go ahead and click on that. But this is these are things, even if you can't experience it because you're not in California, you can experience it anywhere in the world with these products that you have. And your apple pies, oh my gosh, your apple pies are amazing. They are, I mean, and Mrs. Riley makes the biggest apple pies, caramel apple pies that are absolutely incredible. And so I wanted just to give you a shout out because I really do believe in you. And I know your farm is struggling. And I would like to also be able to give a shout out to him and say, listen, there's a link there. If there's something you would like to do to help Riley's Farm, please go to the link and click on that and order something, or at least experience it virtually through the website.
Yeah, we appreciate that. One of the things I was going to say about the experience is that I learned early on as a host that you can have the best soundtrack in the world, but it can never replace live music. And one of the most touching things is to see a young mother, come up with a baby in her arms and she's introducing her baby to music. She's right next to the fiddler, and I can't put my finger on why that is so much more satisfying. I mean, we have access to the best digital music in the world, symphonies and champion, Scottish fiddlers and that sort of thing. But live music is irreplaceable. And in terms of helping us, business in California is very, very difficult. Liability insurance and the various infrastructure that we have to pay for is so enormous that we really have to be a huge enterprise in order to pay the property taxes and just to be able to live here. My wife and I just went off salary this summer because it was so expensive. And so if you've been blessed, and I'm not asking people who are struggling, but if there are people who've been tremendously successful and they want to see places like this survive, we do take contributions. We're not tax deductible, so you won't be able to write it off, but we've just had enormous support. I've raised like $46,000 in the last 4 months just from contributions, and we really did need it this summer. So if you want to see us stick around, you might consider that.
Well, and that's why I wanted to do this podcast, because I know I've got quite a few listeners around the world, and I truly believe in Riley's Farm. And this is, to me, one of the places that needs to stay and be maintained for families for the future. Because again, once you've gone out there and you've experienced it, it leaves a memory that you'll cherish, not only for being there, but also with your family. And I think it's one of the last few places that I've had a chance to go to that still exists. So I would like to see you around for many, many, many more years. So if you can, and as Mr. Riley said, if you have been blessed and you have an opportunity and you can offer something, and every little bit helps, and I always tell my friends, whenever I'm doing things or raising money, I'm like, if you give up a $7 cup of coffee and come on over to my house, I'll make you one, and and give it to a good cause. So
Yeah,
think about that today. Next time you order a pumpkin spice latte, think, you know what? I could save an apple farm with this. So
yeah, yeah. It's one of my favorite things to do at the end of the day of the Revolutionary War tour is to um, tell those kids that they don't remember anything about what they've seen. We want them to know that there were men and women who loved them enough to die for them.
And you're right. And that I think the military, and my family comes from, I come from a strong military family, and you're right. And I think people forget that there's people out there sacrificing their lives. And somebody had said something to me just recently, and it really stuck with me. It said through all the wars, whether it's gone through Revolutionary War or Civil War, and who we are as individuals, and we've all come from somewhere. Um, our whoever our family was that went through all that, survived all that to bring you to where you are now and who you are today. So your family had to go through all of that, and the same thing when you start looking backwards and seeing the history of where maybe your lineage has come from. Somewhere along the line, someone had to experience a war that brought you to where you are. And you're right. And I think history needs to be told, because what do they say? If you do, history will repeat itself if you don't learn from it. And I think, any mistake you want to learn from it so you're not making the same one over and over again. But I think having that knowledge of our history is extremely important, and it's a fact. It's what happened. It's the experience. It's the people that died for us. And they need that story told. And I don't think it needs to be changed. I think it needs to be where it is.
Yeah, I think certainly you can study America's mistakes. We need to learn from those mistakes. But you also have to, I think this is really important, you have to give kids a sense that there were tremendous victories in their past. There's tremendous heroism in their past. All you have to do, if you really ever want to fall back in love with the American tradition, is read the Medal of Honor accounts. They're all online. You read some of the sorry, some of the enormous sacrifice that Americans made to give us what we have. And we're talking about deprivation and Japanese prisoner camps and tremendous heroism on the battlefield, and even the pioneers crossing the plains. I mean, burying children along the way to get out here and to create. I mean, I can guarantee people who criticize American history, they would not want to live in 1840s Arizona. It was not a hospitable place, and they had their ancestors to thank for making our country livable and prosperous.
No, you're right. I've had an opportunity to travel across the country, and when you look out at some of these plains, like even going through Utah and Arizona, and oh my gosh, and I was just out with a friend. Her and I did a hiking trip, and I said, "Could you imagine having to go through here in a buggy, drawn by horses, and being a female, being a woman with children doing this? I mean, it would be extraordinary. That's toughness. That's not only
Yeah,
physical toughness, that's mental toughness to be
yeah,
able to do that and survive and then still raise your family. And along the lines, I mean, this land wasn't even really totally discovered. So they were up against all kinds of things and elements and weather. And you're right. I mean, just the environment alone would have been difficult to deal with, let alone just the struggle of physically getting there.
yeah. And I don't think we take sort of our cultural values for granted, but we're still living on the cultural capital, for example, that the New Englanders created when they arrived in the Bay Colony. I mean, this very biblical culture that believed in hard work and the Ten Commandments that created enormous wealth. Because if you live in an honest culture, you're not worried about protecting your assets all the time. You're worried about creating more wealth. And I think that we take it for granted that it's easier to do business in America for a reason. There's a reason why people want to cross the border illegally. It's because this culture that we've been blessed with is more productive than most cultures on the planet.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to switch gears for a second because I just got your book and I want to ask you about it before we run out of time. Um, I just got this. I'm looking forward to reading it. I just received it like 2 days ago, so I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I'm looking forward to reading it. So tell me a little bit about this book that you wrote.
It was kind of my journey to Riley's Farm, deciding, how we would live here and what we were going to try to accomplish. But basically, I have this. You may laugh at this, but I have this impression that the years between 18 and 27 are some of the most selfish years in most people's lives. I mean, you're young and immortal. You don't think anything is going to happen to you. And it was just a story of my spiritual transformation from an agnostic to a Christian, and from someone who didn't really believe in anything to someone who started remembering all the stories my mother told me when I was a kid. So that's my story.
Well, I love it. Yeah, but those are the best kind of books when they're all your stories because they come from the heart. And that's, so I'm looking forward to reading it. And when I come out, because I will be out to your event, I will find you so you can sign it for me.
Okay. Sure.
So,
Sure.
so Jim, is there anything else you'd like to share? And again, because we're coming up on time here, but before we do, please, if you would like to support Riley's Farm, if you'd like to visit their website, if you'd like to go out and visit them personally, if you're here in town, again, link is down below. Or please, you can find it embedded in the podcast where it says Riley's Farm. Just click on it, and that'll take you right to the website. So I thank you so much for being with us. I'm looking forward to seeing you, and a thank you for many, many years of bringing joy to not only myself but to my family and to the friends and the family that I've had an opportunity to bring. And I wish you many blessings and thank you, and very grateful for everything that you're doing, Mr. Riley, and for what you've been through, because I know you're on your own journey with this. And I really hope that this is something that becomes part of your past based on what's transpiring with the courts and everything else. And you can just keep moving forward with doing what you've been doing for so many years, which is just bringing so much joy to other people.
Well, I appreciate it, Mickey, very much. I thank your audience as well.
All right, you guys, thank you for joining us. I look forward to hearing from you. And please, again, visit Riley's Farm. And then also, if you have any questions or comments you'd like to leave for me, please make sure that you do down below. And I will look forward to seeing each and every one of you. And remember, the most courageous thing you can do is be yourself. Until then, I'll see you.
This episode was brought to you by keeponsharing.com. They're calling themselves the first truly ethical social network. They'll share back 50% of their revenue with their users, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's free to register, and they never sell your information. You can list your products, events, and content for free. Adult content accounts, be gone. They're fun, positive, and encouraging sites supporting local business. In a day and age where social media sites, even well-established ones, are being brought to light left and right for their questionable and sometimes downright archaic business practices, keeponsharing.com is a well-needed breath of fresh air. While you can share personal content, news articles, or just about anything for fun and profit, the marketplace allows practically anyone to sell anything at any time from anywhere. But on this site, you are the boss. I cannot express how amazing it is that keeponsharing.com shares 50% of all revenue back with the users, on top of having a truly transparent, supportive, and clean business model. Check them out. I'm signing up. Will you? Go ahead and meet me on there. Just go to keeponsharing.com. A link will be provided in this episode's description.